Princess Quest!
I think we're doing Princess Quest as canon.
The Princess Quest ending is canon.
It's pretty much been confirmed to be the Princess Quest ending.
Now confirmed to be canon is the Princess Quest ending.
The canon ending is the Princess Quest ending.
So with our canonical ending established,
I'm pretty sure the canon ending is Princess Quest.
Princess Quest is the canon ending.
The Princess Quest ending is the one that the community decided was canon.
I think it's pretty safe to assume that the canon ending for Security Breach is officially the Princess Quest Save Vanny ending.
Well. It seems the FNAF community has missed some very important things in Ruin, and it's up to me to prove it. Hello, I'm Bon Jonesy, and after going through a 2-month analysis of Ruin, from beginnings to the ends, I've come bearing gifts of newfound knowledge. In this series of mine, spanning 10 episodes each, I'll not just reveal some interesting things in Ruin, but I'll prove its validity. And believe me, Ruin has had some interesting revelations about the lore and much more. So let's kick things off with perhaps the most important missed detail of Ruin, the return of Vanny.
Are you having fun yet?
All throughout the DLC, as Cassie makes her way to her ruin, a presence belonging to someone that was thought to be no more after the commonly considered canon ending to Security Breach is here in the Pizzaplex. Her face graces the walls of the now ruined building. Her signature marks her place among the wreckage, suggesting that she still remains. But where is she? To this I tell you, you'll never find her. You won't find her physically present in Ruin, nor will you find her cut model in the DLC's files. Like an invisible ghost, she's unseen. But just like any haunting ghost, the best way to prove its existence is by its interaction with the environment. Among the various graffiti we find in Ruin, 2 stand out that clearly signify her continued presence: her graffiti face and signature. Let's start with the face drawing. I'd say most are aware of this one, considering its placement next to a cheese pizza graffiti on the wall stretching between the elevators and the former Superstar daycare entrance. Some perhaps even realize that there's a second one that's smudged in Superstar daycare. But it's very few that know that there's a unique red one on the wall next to the ticket gate before the broken Freddy statue. Thrice her face was drawn on the wall in the ruined Pizzaplex. Twice was it a different color, and once it was disturbed. But all of them were drawn after Security Breach. Yet how can I know for sure that Vanny's the one behind these drawings? After all, someone graffiti on the lobby wall that they spent the night and survived. Perhaps a copycat is behind all of them. To answer this, we have to go back to Security Breach and take a trip to the underground. Down there in Burntrap's boss arena, you'll find that exact stylized drawing of her face right next to a makeshift bed and across from a Balloon Boy arcade machine. This is the only place you'll find this drawing in Security Breach, and by Ruin, this specific area has been caved in by rubble, which means it's no longer easily accessible. That's not even getting into numerous dangers in the way of reaching the underground. This means whoever graffitied those matching Vanny faces in the DLC had to have first seen the underground one and memorized its style before the events of Ruin. It also means that very same person made it to the underground and returned to the surface without being killed by the Tango, if they went before Security Breach. There's only one person who will be capable of moving around the Pizzaplex and be unbothered by the lurking animatronics and killer staff bots: Vanny. By her graffiti in bed and Burntrap's boss arena and Security Breach, we know she's been that far down on the ground, meaning she's gotten past the Tango unharmed before. Since she was the one who originally drew it in the first place, she would naturally know how to draw it again in Ruin, negating the need to revisit her drawing in the collapsed arena to memorize it. In all 3 instances, disregarding the smudges on the one in the ruined daycare and the different color of the one in the lobby, all 3 designs are one-to-one with the one in Security Breach, leading to only one conclusion: Vanny is still around and has been in the ruined Pizzaplex recently. That particular face drawing around the other graffiti near the elevators was painted after whoever wrote "I spent the night" in the graffiti graph, as her graffiti is painted over it and not under it, meaning that she was the last person to graffiti there by the time Cassie goes into the ruined Pizzaplex. But that's just one of 2 graffiti, remember? If her face tells us she's still around, what does her signature tell us? On a wall in ruined Monty Golf, in the area where Monty scrambles away from us, and before you hop the wall that leads to the electric door, you'll find her signature. Once again, it's a one-to-one match. It's the exact same as the one in her room in Fazilabs in both Ruin and Security Breach. But unlike her face drawing, there are some interesting items in the area surrounding her signature. There's a 3-step ladder, a couple of Helpy brand spray cans, 1 orange, 2 blue, 1 uncapped yellow, a loft bench with a purple blanket with star print, and a drawing of people surrounding Freddy in a Party Time Bonnie poster. Someone has been sleeping in the ruined Pizzaplex. Perhaps the mysterious Spend the Night vandal. No. While that may seem likely, the items in the area suggest otherwise, particularly the items around the log bench. Recall Vanny's makeshift bed in the Burnt Trap Arena. On that same bed, you'll find another purple blanket with stars on it. I'm not saying they're the same, as besides being buried, the underground one has a different color and style of star print. What I am saying is that Vanny has a chosen preference to use purple blankets with star prints on it to sleep under, and that since the other blanket is buried, she could have gotten this one from the Classic Freddy stage in Rockstar Row. But what about the poster and the drawing? I'm sure I don't need to point out that these two things weren't here before in this area in Security Breach. Besides this odd placement, a professional wouldn't leave the Bonnie poster crooked on the wall like that, nor would they put a children's drawing on top of it. All these details combined paint a picture of someone attempting to carve out a small space for themselves in the corner of ruined Montego. It's worth noting that Vanny has demonstrated that she likes to personalize her spaces with graffiti, like her room in Fazilabs in a small area in Burn Trap's domain. Furthermore, Vanny's room in Fazilabs is now filled with trash and bugs, indicating that she may have chosen this new spot for that reason. But is that it? Is this the extent of Vanny's presence in Ruin? If you're thinking of this, then you probably haven't checked the video length yet. But besides that, I have to inform you that everything I just said is merely the prelude to something much bigger. Vanny's not just around after Security Breach. She's not just living in the ruined Pizzaplex. She also plays a major role in the DLC, an invisible guide. Remember that cheese piece of graffiti I mentioned earlier? The one next to Vanny's face? It was drawn with yellow paint. And there just so happens to be a uncapped, dripping yellow spray can right near her log bed in Monte Golf. While there is as many as 3 cheese piece of graffitis that I was able to find, none are quite as special as the one I found on the Fazbear Theater's big screen, since right next to it is a special name in this franchise, Jeremy. But this Jeremy in particular is referencing Help Wanted's Jeremy, as he is the one who first encountered Glitch Trap and was the first victim of his. And most importantly, he alone is the one we're told to remember. And who better to remember him and bother to graffiti his name in ruin than Vanny herself? After all, Vanny was in the second development team of Help Wanted after Jeremy's and Tape Girls.
No one suspects anything.
The company, whether it's Fazbear Entertainment itself or the development studio she worked for, made sure to have a closer eye on those who work on the game. After all, nobody wants another Jeremy incident. But unfortunately for them, they didn't look close enough, as we all know. But back to Fazbear Theater's graffiti. They may look colorless in the real world, but changing the game to unlit mode reveals their true colors. Yellow for the pizza, and blue for Jeremy. It's probably clear by now that Vanny has been indulging in her artistic hobby within the ruined Pizzaplex, having been decorating the building's wall with graffiti using healthy branded spray cans. Through that, I have managed to link 2 other colors besides yellow, purple, and blue directly back to her. Red through spray cans in her first face drawing in the main lobby, and black through spray cans in her last face drawing in the daycare. Yet, of the 5 colors, yellow is the most important in Ruin. Unbeknownst to everyone who's ever played this DLC, as soon as Cassie steps fully into the Pizzaplex, she is already following a predetermined path created by Vanny, and the starting line to this yellow brick road is with an innocent Roxy talking. Its placement is no coincidence, as it is what lures Cassie further into the main lobby. It is what allows the Mimic to lure Cassie even further into the Pizzaplex, and it sits in front of her only path forward, a path that gives her the tool needed for her to turn off and see those nasty security nodes. Yet, it's when you get to Monte Golf that you truly realize how long and meticulously Vanny has been laying out this ruinous path for Cassie. First, you see a yellow splatter makeshift ramp. Then, some curious helpy cutouts pointing you exactly where you need to go. And then, splattered boxes. all in plain sight on the path where you're following to get to your next objective, and that's just Montego. Vanny gets more creative in other areas of the Pizzaplex by hiding conveniently placed arrows and using the environment to guide Cassie to where they need her to go. Superstar Daycare, Gondola Maintenance Room, Chica's Cupcake Shop, Foxy's Log Ride, Roxy Raceway, First Section, Bonnie Bow, and Roxy's Party Garage all show us that this plan has been in the works for Cassie long before she comes to the ruined Pizzaplex. But this doesn't mean Cassie always follows the intended path, as her falling through the vents actually deviates from it. But as you can see, Cassie always comes back to where they want her to go. But what if she didn't? There's always a chance that Cassie might wander too far off the laid path, stop short of the goal, or even turn around and go home. The villains cannot allow it to happen, or everything they've been playing for will be in ruins. So someone needs to be there for Cassie, not to be another passive watcher, nor to be another enticer, but to prevent her from unknowingly backing out of the plan. I'm sure you pick it up what I'm putting down. Vanny and Cassie are both in the ruined Pizzaplex at the same time. While I did say that she was unseen in ruin, I didn't say that she was unheard. You just need to listen. Not for her voice, but for the sound she makes as she moves the environment. When you first come across this wall with her graffiti on it, once you get close to it, the sound of a door being slammed turns your eyes to the red double doors to the Superstar Daycare entrance. It's just a coincidence, you think. When you first come into the Glenrock Salon, after leaving the Upper East server room, you walk down some stairs and come into a T hallway. There, the sound of metal being rattled draws your attention to a fence gate with seemingly no one being there. But it's not a coincidence, as these sounds are only played when the player is in the fence or the double door line of sight. Both sounds are preceded by times where Cassie and the Mimic have not said where she was in the Pizzaplex. Vanny is hiding, but she's also keeping an eye on Cassie. She slams the door and rattles the fence once she knows that Cassie is in the right place and leaves to prevent Cassie from noticing her. But she also makes sure to block Cassie's path behind her, like in the main lobby with the falling elevator and Roxy Raceway with the go-kart, so there's no way but forward for her. Cassie and the Mimic talk about where she is for most of the DLC. This also informs Vanny of where Cassie is too, so she can track her. Vanny can intercept their walkie-talkie signal with one of her walkie-talkies, something that Security Breach and a certain teaser poster tell us that the Pizzaplex security team uses. And while it's true this walkie-talkie can be found in the exact same place in Security Breach, the objects surrounding it are gone, meaning someone kept it there for their use. But I know what you're thinking right now. Princess Quest is canon. If this is all true, then what about the story in the Princess Quest 3 arcade machine? Princess Quest 3. The sight of a single arcade machine with a golden sword stabbed into its side in the AR world is visually stunning and cool. It's the first thing you notice when you peer in Vanny's room for the first time in the ruin. As you progress through the DLC and discover more things, it captivates your mind and sows a seed of an idea that steadily flourished into a nearly undeniable certainty. The Princess Quest ending is canon. Except it's all a beautiful deception, a well-played trick, and a clever red herring. Steel Wool deserves all the credit for pulling off this slide ruse that most fail and continue to fall for, all while keeping a very good secret hidden in Vanny's room. Let's start with the trick. When entering this room for the first time, you're already in the mask, and because you're in the AR world already, you have no inclination to immediately remove it before your eyes catch on to the shiny and glowing thing to your right. Instantly, your mind and eyes are focused on the pleasingly sight of the golden sword in the arcade machine. Even when you take the mask off, you're still thinking about it and its implications. The trick purpose is to stop you from thinking about how Vanny room is so much different from before. Next is the red herring. The golden sword in the arcade machine doesn't mean anything by itself. It doesn't imply that the princess has slayed the monster. It doesn't imply that Princess Quest 3 has been beaten. It doesn't even imply that the arcade has been damaged in some way. It really is just a golden sword in the machine, which leads to the deception, or really self-deception, as Steel Wool had let us come to conclusions about what the arcade meant in the AR world. If we all came to the same assumption about how one particular ending of Security Breach is canon, then that's on us, as they didn't say anything for or against it. But to show you the real secret of this room, you'll need to know two things. First, there is something in the AR world of Vanny's room you need to look at to understand what's happening. Right near the arcade on the back wall is an image of an enemy that can only be found in the Princess Quest arcade games. That enemy is not just any ordinary enemy, but the very last thing you see at the end of Princess Quest 1, Glitch Trap. Or the Glitch Trap Amalgam, as I'm calling it. If you think I'm making a stretch with that, then remove your mask while looking at the wall. You'll find in the real world that the image of Glitch Trap is blackened on the wall of Vanny's room, right where the Glitch Trap Amalgam would be in the AR world. The jazz hand pose is the same one that Glitch Trap makes in Stillwell's official render of him. Next, look above the vent you take to get into Phaser Blast in the AR world. That enemy there is also from the Princess Quest games, as it is listed as enemy basic in the game files, except this one doesn't appear in any of the Princess Quest games. This is an altered design of enemy basic, a design change that is made to look closer to a feminine look, because this enemy was designed to better represent Vanny. That's why and significantly, these two enemies appear outside the Princess Quest games in the AR world. But it's the second thing I need to point out so you'll understand the full picture and the biggest secret of Vanny's room. In that vent, we slide from Bonnie mode to get to Vanny's room, and in turn Phaser Blast. A certain melody briefly plays while we're riding the purple vortex. That melody is from the Princess Quest games. It's the theme song of those games. But now that music is the final piece of the puzzle that helps cement what's going on with Vanny, the sword in the arcade machine, and even Glitch Trap in Ruin. The melody is called Caught in a Loop, and that's exactly what's happening inside the Princess Quest games. The princess can't complete her quest if she can't slay the monster behind the locked door. The reason she can't slay the monster is that it shifted out of the game and into the Pizzaplex network. The AR world of Vanny's room is really showing us that the Princess Quest Golden Sword is stuck inside the arcade machine, unable to reach and slay the monsters that now stick to the walls of the room, who are safe and out of harm's way. The princess is now caught in a loop in which she can no longer complete her quest, but neither can she stop in her quest either. After all, Caught in a Loop stops playing in Princess Quest 3, and all ambience ends when the princess slays the monster. So while the song continues, Glitch Trap watches all. The mimic is freed, and Vanny still roams Ruin Hall.